Hello everyone! Welcome to the SOS Telethon special presentation for Now You're Talking with Dave McCabe! Skit is on its way to becoming a 501c3. If you haven't heard the news, we're here to catch you up. The Skit team is working to develop programming that will use core principles of improv to improve communication skills for many different communities and audiences. Skit has always believed that improv was more than a performance art. It's a way to help people communicate, understand each other, listen, and grow. All things we could use a lot more of in this crazy world. In order for us to develop community programming and education, we'll need your help keeping the Skit operating for the next year. The money raised will be used to keep our space and our community together during these challenging times. We are hoping to raise $24,946.36 for rent and utilities from now until the end of 2021. 2020 has been tough on so many industries, including this one. We know that everyone will not be able to help, but we appreciate any help that we receive. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to visit that link in the chat to submit your donation. Oh yeah, the hair. People have been telling me I'm giving off this Beetlejuice vibe. And I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier! Hey, it's showtime. And during the show, don't forget, get into the chat, click on the link, and give us any help that you can. We all appreciate it. We'll see ya!
You're watching Now You're Talking with Dave McCabe. Tonight's guests are improviser actor Dustin Eric, improviser and galactic genius Alex Moskowitz, tonight's sponsor is the SOS Telethon.
You know, we put a ton of work into these shows. I mean, look at these storyboards. Then I realized we're spending way too much time inside. So we're going to the park. Dustin Eric, now you're talking with Dave McCabe. Let's go. We are clearly 6 feet apart.
Yep.
Eric is an improviser, a working actor, and has spent time as a Skit house manager.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin brings a photographer's eye to his scene work and has a commanding presence when performing his craft. I am meeting up with Dustin during a break in his filming of his new series. Dustin, how's the filming going?
Good. We had a little hiccup today. We had to take a little bit of a break, but I'm sure we'll be picking it up. But we started off really well, had a lot of great moments, and some scenes that we thought weren't going to be as good as they turned out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the finished product of it.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about it. I can't wait to see the finished product. Can you tell me just a little bit about how your journey in the performance arts started?
Well, I always wanted to get into acting. It was something that was always in the back of my mind, but I was never able to really pursue. I didn't really have too much encouragement on that aspect growing up. It was kind of like I would mention it, and my family and friends would just be like, "Oh, yeah, acting."
Sure.
Yeah. And then as far as school went, there wasn't really much to go as far as like acting classes and stuff like that. And the ones that they did have available, it was like small crowds with a couple people that were people that were considered nerds or whatever. And then I was already getting picked on at that point, so I didn't want to like draw more attention to myself.
I got you.
But I guess what really changed for me was Pittsburgh Zombie Fest.
Nice.
So that was kind of a turning point that kind of made me want to go into more performing wise. Me and a friend of mine at the time, we decided to go in full character as zombies, and then once we got there, we just acted out the entire time, and we didn't, we weren't like socializing with people. We were socializing as zombies. We were, finding people that were taking pictures and interested of stuff, and then we chased them around as zombies and just, kind of moan. And then I started getting into that every year, and I volunteered to help them and just got more in depth with my costumes.
Nice.
Eventually, one of my friends started doing short films and music videos, and because I got more comfortable performing in like I guess an improv situation,
Right.
that I kind of wanted to do that. I was more motivated to do that, so I helped my friend for a bit, and we did multiple music videos, multiple short films and stuff like that, and eventually started seeing posts for like extra work for films that were like Sony Pictures and random
Nice.
big name companies that were filming in Pittsburgh area. So I just applied for that, and then I started doing background extra work from there, and just kind of snowball effect from there.
That's fantastic. And this zombie is like, there's no zombie season, right? You could be a zombie even past Halloween.
Yeah, pretty much, especially when you're in Pittsburgh, because
Tom Savini and the
yeah,
gang. Yeah, I
it's
got
zombie capital of the world. So
That's weird. I don't see any flags or anything. But
Yeah.
I absolutely believe you. So, when were you first introduced to improv, and can you tell me a little bit about the start of that experience?
Well, I actually started doing improv. Well, I was actually introduced to it from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Of course, yeah. Many people.
Yeah,
are,
I feel like that's a very common thing. But I started getting into improv when I started doing acting for extra work.
Okay.
I was on the set of the Mr. Rogers film. I forget.
Oh yeah,
I
Beautiful Day in the
Yeah,
Neighborhood.
yeah. They changed the name a couple times in production.
Sure.
I forgot what it was called, but I was on the set for that, and we were kind of like taking a break in between cuts, and I was talking to one of the other extras there, and he had mentioned Steel City Improv Theater,
Right.
and was saying that improv is something that actually like helps actors pursue their career, and like kind of gives them the edge, because directors tend to look for people with improv experience over people who don't, if they can both do the same role,
Right. I found that. As I've been interviewing actors and I
Mhm.
interview improvisers, I can tell who's been an improviser.
Right, yeah,
Absolutely.
it makes a huge difference. So the gentleman I talked with, he said I'd recommend at least doing like 1 or 2 courses at Steel City, and I did the first one, and then it just never stopped from there.
Wow. Can you tell us about those first improv classes? Like, how did it make you feel? Like, you're going in there as an actor.
Yeah.
Like, how did that go?
Well, it made me extremely nervous. I am someone that has high anxiety to begin with, like just over general trivial things that I
Sure.
shouldn't, and at this point in my life, I was already kind of adjusted and comfortable with acting in front of film. At that point, it's just like, okay, you mess up, take 2.
Right.
Mess
Sure,
up,
yeah.
take 3. Not a big deal. But at this point, it's like I'm moving into live performance,
Right.
and I'm doing this alone and not knowing any people in my class and stuff like that, and it's just starting a whole new chapter. And I was super nervous my first day. I didn't really know what to expect, because I didn't even take like the sample classes ahead of time. I just
Jumped
right into it.
Yeah, me too.
And then it just ended up being something that I really enjoyed as we progressed through the classes, and it was just, I don't know, a completely different experience than acting in front of the camera.
Yeah, there's 2 lessons that I like to learn from that. Is number 1, having your scene partners back, and number 2 is making them look like a genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
And guess what? That's their job too. So that actually made me feel a little less alone out
Yeah.
there. And it's like, and if I stumble, somebody's there to pick me up. And that's what I think I really appreciate about that improv experience.
Yeah, and I took some classes, like acting classes beforehand with Nancy Mosser Casting.
Oh, okay,
and,
yeah.
Like, those acting classes compared to improv classes, it's a completely different world, and it's a fun journey, like mixing them together and
Yeah.
like seeing what I can create with it.
Yeah, that's great. Is there an improv moment or a show, like a moment you just killed it, or a moment that you watched that they killed it, as we all support each other?
Well, as far as moments that I watched, there's so many that I can think of. I mean, especially after I started working there, and you know,
Right.
just popping in and seeing random bits from shows. I mean, I could think of like so many musical improv moments that are just hilarious.
My favorite.
Yeah, like I don't know, like musical improv's still something that is on the back of my head that I might want to consider, but I've never been very musical myself.
You don't have
But
to.
yeah,
Do it. Just do it.
It is something that I'm interested in, and I do love seeing the
Yeah.
shows more than anything. I feel.
Yeah, I find it so liberating,
Mhm.
and honestly, it's about being patient. So
Yeah.
I think you'd be great. It is the best time I have doing
Yeah.
improv.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. But as far as shows that I've been in that really stick out in my head, the first one for sure.
I was gonna say it's always that first show.
Yeah, because like I said, I get high anxiety to begin with.
Sure.
So I was actually a little bit late getting there for we do like the preparation a half hour ahead of time
Sure, yeah.
before the show starts, and I was probably about 10-15 minutes late to that because I was so nervous leaving my house that I actually threw up 3
Oh,
times.
jeez.
And
That's in an Eminem song, isn't it? That's so.
The first show I threw up like 3 times before I left the house, and then my second show it was only twice.
Okay, good.
And then after that I just always got the butterflies, but never threw
throwing
up again. Yeah.
So did you start eating food that like you knew you'd like again?
Yeah.
Okay. I planned my dinner over show notes.
Right. Yeah.
So, how has improv impacted your acting performances? What specific improv skills do you apply to your acting, and conversely, how does it go back and forth?
I think improv has affected my acting a lot because it teaches me how to support my partner.
Excellent, yeah.
And like as far as acting classes go, a lot of that isn't really emphasized too much on supporting your partner. It's more on like doing your line work and actual self-performance.
I see.
Whereas improv is building up your partner, and everything else will come from there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's kind of neat implementing that into acting, because I feel there's definitely been some short films and stuff like that where I've just kind of done short improv, whether it's gestures or comments or something like that.
Right.
And it's really helped my partner in that aspect.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool that I can implement that both ways.
What about improv brings you the most joy, would you say?
I have to say probably back to that creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like acting, but without the script. So like acting, I always know what's coming.
Yeah.
I do that role. I know how it's going to be ahead of time because I'm sort of preparing for it.
Sure.
But improv, it's the excitement and the spontaneity. I love going on stage, following someone on stage, knowing like they might have an idea or they might not.
Right.
And then you just go on there and work with it, and you can create some of the best characters and some of the best moments,
And you never know they're coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And the best part is like you're never going to see that scene again.
Yeah, that's my favorite part of improv.
Mhm.
It is a moment in time.
Yep.
Enjoy it, and let's go grab
It's
snack
all
after.
one unique scene from another.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great guy. Thanks so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing that new series.
Yep.
I loved being in the park. Fresh air, great conversation. Thanks, Dustin. And now a word from our sponsor. I sure missed the theater not being open, but hey, when you're home you have to improvise. One of the first skills we learn is pass the clap. Are you ready, Bob? That didn't go too well. He doesn't have arms. Let's see how our Zoom test group goes.
Over, yeah, you.
Wow, that was hard. I guess it's tough whenever you can't really see people. Another game we do is Bunny Bunny. It's really about catching and receiving the energy from other people. Bob, are you ready? Bunny, 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 bunny. Okay, the two people on either side can do ticky-tacky. This isn't gonna work. Zoom test group, give it a go.
Bunny, bunny, bunny.
Bunny, 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 bunny.
Bunny,
Bunny, bunny.
bunny, 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 bunny,
Ducky. Bunny, bunny.
bunny, 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 bunny,
Bunny, bunny.
bunny,
Bunny, bunny. Bunny,
bunny, bunny,
Ticky.
bunny, bunny, bunny,
Ticky.
bunny,
Ticky.
bunny, bunny,
Bunny, bunny.
ticky tocky.
Hey guys, it's not that hard. Bunny, 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 bunny. Well, you know, another game we like to play is red ball. So you take an imaginary ball and then you throw it, and then Bob would say, "Red ball, thank you." And then we could do other stuff too. So, Zoom test group, give that a go.
Red
ball.
Red ball. Red.
Thank you.
Red
Thank
ball.
you. Red ball.
Red ball.
Red ball. Red ball.
Yeah, you.
Red ball.
Sleepy
Red-
baby.
red
Thank you, red ball.
Thank you.
Red ball.
Red ball. Thank you.
Sleeping
baby.
Thank you. Red ball.
Thank you, red ball. Red ball.
Red
Red
ball.
ball.
Sleeping baby. Sleeping baby. Sleeping.
Angry
Thank you,
cat.
sleeping
Red ball.
baby.
Thank you.
Baby.
Sleeping baby.
Sleeping babies. Red,
Angry cat.
red ball or sleeping baby?
Well, you tried. Zoom test group, thank you so much. But you can really see, everyone, why we need to have the theater. So please donate in the link below and see if we can keep people together as soon as we possibly can make that happen. And now, let's try Hotspot. Please don't sing All-Star. Please don't sing All-Star. Please don't sing All-Star.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna.
My next guest is Alex Moskowitz. Really funny guy, really intelligent guy. Has a whole lot of opinions about space, intergalactic travel, science, you name it. I understand he's CMU's go-to guy for any space-related questions. We're glad he's around. For me, I remember being on stage with him. He loved cargo shorts, but he never took out the change. So every scene we seemed to have, he had keys or something in there. But you know what, for today, let's stick to the space questions. And I've got a few. So, Alex Moskowitz, now you're talking with Dave McKay. First space question. SpaceX just happened. Why have we not traveled to Mars?
Thanks, Dave. That's an excellent question. There are many reasons it is difficult to get humans to Mars. The first one is that you have to pick a method of getting there. The simplest one is simply by running. For that, you'd want to pick somebody like Usain Bolt, but he's simply too tall to fit into the spaceship. We have tried to resort to other methods. One attempt was made to try to take a pogo stick off the Empire State Building, and he managed to launch himself not into orbit. Unfortunately, he wasn't wearing a parachute, so we didn't get data from that run. The most common method is to pile up explosives under the astronauts until it's about the size of a skyscraper and light it, and hope that the explosion doesn't blow them to bits, but does launch them into space. Now, once you've launched into space, there are further problems. For example, most physicists and engineers are introverts, which means they can't stand another person for more than 10 minutes. And the journey to Mars is 6 months long. So we've had to come up with ideas on how to keep them entertained. Now, back when Game of Thrones was still good, it was thought that this is it. This is the thing that's going to get the astronauts to Mars without going crazy and pushing each other out of the airlock. But everybody knows that Game of Thrones messed up their last season. And since then, we've been searching for a replacement. And that's the thing that's been keeping us from going to Mars. It's not the engineers or the physicists, they're working their butts off. But Hollywood has let us down in their imagination and their ability to make coherent series that go on for long enough to get a bunch of people 6 months to Mars with nothing else to do. Now you might think, why not just stream news shows on the way there? But Earth's Wi-Fi only extends out
I
to
think
about
you're
the
getting
moon.
off topic.
NASA has tried making a bigger Wi-Fi extender, and that is set to be launched in about 2035 whenever they get the approval from Comcast. Now, they've been stuck on hold with Comcast customer support for the last 6 years, and so that really hasn't gone anywhere. So that's where we're at. Now, once they get to Mars, they have to land. There's several methods to do this. The first is to stick their hand in the atmosphere like a paddle in the water, but Mars has a very thin atmosphere, that might not work. The second method is parachutes. While those are reliable, it's really, really boring, and NASA just wants to up their game. So they've decided to tape tinfoil balls to the bottom of the lander. Hopefully that'll absorb the impact when they land, and also let them keep their food warm when they get there.
Well, it's nice to have warm food. I think you're screwing with me. All right, one last question. And I just have to ask because it's on everybody's mind and it's been pretty controversial. Tell me, Alex Mosky Moxtowitz, is Pluto a planet? And be real with us. Be real.
Now, Dave, personally, I'm tired of this question. Is Pluto a planet? Pluto not a planet? We've been fighting about it for years. The answer is clearly no. However, there's another question we have to ask, which is, do aliens think Pluto is a planet?
Aliens?
Now, this is actually a very complicated question, and for a while, philosophers had to debate it because we didn't have the telescopes powerful enough to answer this. But with the recent discovery of more exoplanets and how to find them, we can finally put this a very, very important question to rest. Now, there are several ways of finding an exoplanet. The first is called the radial velocity method, where you look at the motion of the star, in our case the sun, and how it's impacted by the gravity of Pluto. Now, in this case, Pluto would have no effect. Pluto is a tiny, inconsequential object out in the middle of nowhere that doesn't even deserve to be called a dirty snowball.
You need to respect dirty snowballs.
Sorry, I'm letting my personal opinions get in on here. Where was I? Right. So Pluto would not show up in the radial velocity method. Now there's another method called the transit method. It's what happens when you look at a star. These motorcycles come here every night screaming that Pluto's a planet, and I simply cannot abide that.
I love motorcycles and Pluto.
Where was I? Yes, the transit method. If a star passes, is passed by, if those motorcycles really get on my nerves. If a planet passes in front of a star, we see that the star's light gets dimmer. Now, if you were looking at our solar system and you picked up Pluto this way, you would see it get dimmer by a little bit. However, because Pluto does not orbit in the same plane as other planets, we wouldn't see those other planets if you could see the dimming from Pluto being in front of the sun. Therefore, you would include that Pluto has indeed cleared out its orbit of other objects and conclude that it is actually a planet. So aliens would think that Pluto is a planet. However, if they came and investigated, they would clearly see that they are in the wrong, and that Pluto is not a planet because Neptune is in its orbit and is way bigger and way better and definitely deserves to be called a planet. Now, there's one other method to detecting stars, and that's to go visit them. And if we were to go visit other solar systems, we could look for other Pluto-like objects and then put them in their place and tell them that they're not a planet either. And that is the ultimate goal of humanity, to reach to the stars and tell the universe what its order is.
Well, Alex, we sure did learn a whole lot today. Thanks so much for all of your time, and I don't know, live long and prosper, or to infinity and beyond. Whatever gets you going. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot for your time, and thanks for letting us get comfy. My God, this is a great way to interview. Hey, we sure hope you enjoyed the show, and remember to click the link below to donate. Despite the name of the show, it would be nothing without the troupe of talented folks that make it all come together. My deepest thanks and appreciation to Justin and Casey for the opportunity, the mighty Quinn Strand, Dustin Eric, Steve Winikoff, Emma Hurley, Sam Green, Chris Noonan, Lillian Leibovich, Sarah McAllister, Alex Moskowitz, Monica Dunlap, and the truly amazing Bill Hell Yeah Hollerin. Tune in next time for Now You're Talking with Dave McCabe.